and started by asking for her reaction to the report today.
It was a bit disappointing. I had hoped that the report's conclusion would include asking the Parliament in Westminster here in Britain to have another debate on this subject, because they haven't debated it since 2015. And since then, a lot of other countries around the world have legalized assisted dying in various different ways, so that there's plenty of evidence to pick from. And they haven't called for us to have a debate. So I'm afraid it's up to people power. It's up to all the British voters to get in touch with their own MPs and say, put this in your manifesto if we haven't had time to debate it before the election, because this is a life and death issue that matters a great deal to all of us.
Why do you think there has been a reluctance to put this further up the political agenda? This is something that has been personal to you since you lost your husband. I know that you made a programme about death and how to die with dignity, essentially, and how people want to spend their final months, weeks and days. And it's become very personal to you now. You're announcing before Christmas that you joined Dignitas. Why do you think there is this reluctance politically to tackle this topic head on again?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, whether because it's such an emotional issue and because there are very strong feelings on both sides of the debate, they didn't feel they wanted to come down hard on one side or the other. But we're not asking them to do that. We're saying we want a debate. That's all we're asking for a debate and a free vote. And unfortunately, they haven't recommended that. But they have put together quite a lot of evidence. For example, the countries that have legalized assisted dying around the world have found that although people were worried it might damage palliative care, it hasn't. It hasn't damaged palliative care at all, and for some countries, it's actually improved it. So that's very important, because some of the opponents have claimed the opposite. So it's worthwhile having this valuable evidence. There isn't a slippery slope. When a country has decided to legalize a certain kind of assisted dying, that's the way it has remained.
What have people been saying to you? Because I'm sure since you came out and said that you joined Dignitas, you were starting to have these kind of conversations. Do you get the sense that there is a public appetite, a real societal shift that says we need to have this debate, not necessarily a change in the law, but we need to talk about it more and explore it?
Yes, absolutely. And the law at the moment is a mess. And indeed, this report says so. Lord Falconer describes the law at the moment a mess. Because, say, I decide to go to Dignitas because my life is not bearable at the moment and I need to be able to choose to bring it to an end, I can't take my family with me. I can't take my loved ones. I can't take my close friends, because they run the risk of being investigated by the police for having conspired to bring about my manslaughter or murder. And some of the cases in this report demonstrate how painful that is for loving families who are doing their best to support someone close to them and are then accused by the police and investigated by the police. It's a mess at the moment. It needs changing. It's up to Parliament to decide the changes they want to bring in, but they must do it quickly for all our sake.
Since you went public with your diagnosis over a year ago with stage 4 lung cancer, there was a big reaction. People care about you. You've been in public life, whether on our TV screens or as a campaigner, making a difference for decades. People are invested in you. How is your health? Because I know when you last spoke publicly, you talked about the fact that you were going to have another scan. You were on a drug that you described as a miracle drug. How are you doing?
Nothing has changed. I'm still on the miracle drug. I'm still anticipating another scan in a couple of weeks, and that scan will reveal how I am. So at the moment, I'm in touch with my family and my friends. I don't go out. I don't. I stay at home and enjoy the company of those closest to me and a cat that has adopted us. adorable cat. I was never a cat lover, but now
they
I am.
tend to know. They tend to know when you need them, cats.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realise that. And this cat definitely thinks he's a dog because he seeks out my company and sits with me in the evening. And it's that's the way my life is at the moment. And I do an awful lot of talking about death. And I'd much rather be talking about life.